Not quite sure how to start this story because it's definitely one that's hard to believe, and no doubt this is a first. And honestly, as a mom of four, I have questions. So a Chinese tech company says it's building what could be the world's first pregnancy robot. This humanoid would have an artificial womb in its abdomen to carry and deliver a baby.
Master Quincy warned us about the robot slowly taking over us, the way we think, the way we move, our creativity. It was all in real time back in the 2020s, when people used to do videos and live stream. Yes, he warned us, but no one wanted to listen.
I'm Master Quincy, and welcome to my AI Takeover Series, where we spark real conversations about artificial intelligence, explore new developments, and look ahead at how these changes will shape our future. Now, the goal is simple. The goal is to prepare to pivot when necessary and to make sure that the next generation has access to new knowledge, not just the blueprint that we've lived by or the one our parents passed down, because the world is changing and survival in the future will not come from holding on to the past. It'll come from adopting new ideas. Now, if you'd like to be a part of a growing community of businessmen and businesswomen, click the link in the bio and join the union. It's a network focused on learning new strategies from short-term to long-term investments with the goal of building wealth, ownership, and legacy. The union isn't about shortcuts. It's about education, discipline, and access to opportunities that can truly change the direction of your life. Now, before I share this video with y'all, picture this: a child being carried not in a woman's womb, but inside a machine. Now, I get it. It sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But this isn't Hollywood. It's happening right now in China. By 2026, researchers expect to have a functioning pregnancy robot that is capable of bringing life into the world. Stay woke, people. Stay woke. That's all I gotta say.
Not quite sure how to start this story because it's definitely one that's hard to believe, and no doubt this is a first. And honestly, as a mom of four, I have questions. So a Chinese tech company says it's building what could be the world's first pregnancy robot. This humanoid would have an artificial womb in its abdomen to carry and deliver a baby. Kaiwa Technology hopes to have a prototype ready within a year, with plans to launch by 2026 at under $14,000. This announcement is starting to stir a big debate. Some people see hope for couples facing infertility. Others worry about the ethical questions.
Yeah, so she says of course, by 2026, which I already mentioned, and it should be about 14 grand. 14 grand. That sounds kind of cheap to me. It sounds kind of cheap for life being brought onto the earth, if that makes sense. But I would think that maybe in the future that the price of it will go up, especially if, everything works out the way it's supposed to with this new artificial intelligence we got going.
The company's owner, Cody, said, some people want to have a baby but don't want to carry the baby, and he's trying to give an alternative. But it really opens a big conversation.
Yeah.
Are you speechless?
I don't really know about that. I don't. Yeah. And then I saw some
Hey, he definitely speechless. He like, man, I don't know about this.
earlier, and it's like all clear. I don't know. For 14,000,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But for those who need a surrogate of some
Right.
kind, I guess it's another option. But there are a lot of questions
A
to
lot.
remain.
We'll see what happens, I
The
guess.
conversation continues.
All right, so I want to educate y'all a little bit on this. You know, as an AI strategist, I try to study and research a lot about what's going on. This machine is designed with an artificial womb built inside the body, right? Now, it uses a special fluid to mimic amniotic fluid and a hose that acts like the umbilical cord. Nutrients, oxygen protection, it's all been simulated by technology. Now, the vision is simple: a baby growing safely to full term without ever touching a human womb. The project is being led by Dr. Zhang Qufeng of Kawai Technology. It's a company based in Guangzhou, China, I think. Guangzhou is in Guangzhou, China. Now, his reasoning seems straightforward. Infertility is rising, and so are the social pressures that come with it. Millions of couples worldwide struggle to conceive, and for many of them, adoption or surrogacy are either too expensive, too limited, or emotionally complex. Now, Dr. Zhang's purpose with the artificial womb is to create an alternative, alternative medical breakthrough that makes parenthood more accessible. He isn't framing it as replacing mothers or reshaping humanity. His focus is very clear. Give families who cannot conceive naturally the chance to have a biological child at a fraction of the current cost of surrogacy. Now, when you think about it, it's the same kind of purpose that drove the first scientists behind IVF back then. The mission wasn't about changing the human experience. It was about giving hope to people who didn't have options. Now, artificial wombs, at least in their early vision, are being developed with that same spirit. So for those who do not know what IVF is, IVF, which stands for in vitro fertilization, I think I'm saying that word right. It was once considered controversial too. Now IVF, and drop down in the comments if you know anything about IVF. But IVF is when doctors basically take an egg from a human and sperm from a man, fertilize them together in a lab, and the embryo is then placed back into the woman's uterus to grow naturally. Today, millions of babies around the world have been born this way. What was once seen as unnatural is now a standard medical practice. Now, here is where it gets interesting, y'all. In the United States, in the USA, surrogacy can cost anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000. It involves legal contracts, complex medical procedures, and the emotional weight of another woman carrying your child. But this robot, reports say, it could cost around $14,000. Now that's less than the price of some cars. So here's the question. Would society embrace this option the same way it slowly embraced in vitro fertilization decades ago? Think about it. If a machine can safely carry a child, does that reduce the physical risks women face during pregnancy? Another question you want to ask yourself. Would some parents prefer this method simply to avoid complications, even if they're healthy enough to carry naturally? Huh? We got to ask ourselves these questions, yo. We got to. Drop down in the comments, right? Let me know what y'all think, right? So let me check out this other video. And if you have not already, hit the like button, yo. Hit the like button, right? Because we coming to you raw. We delivering some powerful information.
The dark visions of science fiction is now becoming a stark reality. Scientists in China have unveiled a concept that could forever change the meaning of life, of parenthood, and what it is to be a human. A new arms race is underway, not for military might, but for the very procedure of creation. Our next report telling you more.
I think this video is by Hamas, about somebody in Hamas. I'm not sure, but the channel is Wyon, but you guys could, look this video up and check it out.
Where the act of pregnancy is no longer a human experience, but a technological one. A world where babies are grown in a sterile, artificial womb inside a machine. Something depicted in sci-fi cult movie The Matrix, it's the audacious new reality being pursued by Chinese scientists. They are developing what they claim is the world's first pregnancy robot, a humanoid surrogate capable of carrying a baby to term and giving birth. This machine, they say, will be equipped with a cutting-edge artificial womb that receives nutrients through a complex network of hoses and tubes. The humanoid, priced at around $1,400.
I want to know what y'all think. Do y'all think like the actual robot is gonna have a lady's face, the skin, or is it just gonna be like a robot from like the movie I, Robot? What do y'all think that the robot is gonna look like, right?
Being reportedly developed by Kaiwa Technology, a Guangzhou-based tech company. But with every breakthrough comes a burning question. Just because we can, should we?
That's a good question.
For centuries, pregnancy has been the most human of experiences. Replacing it with machines sparks fierce ethical debate. What does it mean for the sanctity of motherhood and the human bond between parent and child? There is also the question about who will control these artificial wombs. Will babies become products designed, engineered, manufactured? Critics warn of a slippery slope where life itself is commodified. Will the rich buy robo-surrogates while others grapple with infertility or medical risks? The implication.
I wonder too, this is another good question to ask. Would these babies be extremely smart? Like, would they have artificial intelligence because they're coming from the humanoid, coming from, the robot? That's a good question right there.
Are enormous, and the world is watching closely. Bureau report, Vion World is one.
So, how would this, if this becomes common, right? How does this change the role of motherhood? Is motherhood about carrying a child or about raising and nurturing one? Does this technology create equality, or could it create new inequalities depending on who has access? On one hand, this could be life-changing for families who thought they'd never have a child. Imagine the joy of an infertile couple finally holding their biological baby, and thanks to science and technology. But on the other hand, does it raise bigger concerns? Does it raise an eyebrow? Are we crossing a line? when the natural act of pregnancy can be outsourced to a robot? Does it make children feel less connected, or would they grow up never knowing the difference, right? Remember, when IVF, test tube babies, first started in the 1970s, people thought it was an unnatural conversation, even dangerous. Today, millions of children have been born through IVF and society accepts it almost without question. Could this artificial womb be the IVF of the future? Something shocking at first, but normal later. And we could even take this a step further. Let's see. I do have another video. Let's see. Let's check this one out.
Production of humanoid robots. Its scientists are now extending the technology into the most intimate frontier of human life.
A new arms race is underway, not for military might, but for the very process of creation.
Guangzhou-based Kaiwa Technology has announced it's developing the world's first humanoid robot capable of carrying a human pregnancy using an artificial womb. While robots birthing babies might seem extreme, the foundational technology has been advancing rapidly for years. And the Chinese government has shown willingness in the past to engineer reproduction through radical means.
A major policy shift was announced in China today. Families there will now be able to have more than one child.
Its infamous one-child per family policy, which ran from 1979 to 2015, helped create the demographic crisis the People's Republic is now desperate.
Man, America, y'all just don't know how lucky you got it. Like in China, one kid per parents, just because they feel like the population is too high. Just imagine if they did something like that in America. How would you think? How would you feel? Let me know in the comment section. I can't, one baby, that's crazy. Just one child? I couldn't picture myself only having one kid, bro. I just can't.
Perhaps with robotics. Kaiwa claims the technology is already mature in lab settings and could be ready for real-world testing by next year. The project aims to address China's rising infertility rate, which spiked from 7.5% in 2007 to more than 18% in 2020, meaning nearly 1 in 5 couples struggle to conceive. Underpopulation is one of China's top concerns for the future. The country's population peaked in 2022 at about 1.4 billion, then began to shrink for the first time in 6 decades.
So that'd be a good question too. Like, if we look at it from another angle, so if this is happening in China, is America going to allow this to happen? And let's just say America don't allow it to happen. Let's say America say, nah, we're not trying to have people give birth to children through an artificial womb. Will people in America who agree with it, will they go to China, give birth through the artificial womb way, and then bring their baby back to America? It's strange how things are going to play out. I know in some countries, they probably not going to allow it.
According to UN projections, the Chinese population could drop by nearly half to 800 million by the year 2100. Fewer young workers could worsen labor shortages in manufacturing and services, threatening China's role as the world's factory. The shrinking young workforce must also support a growing elderly population in one of the oldest countries. By 2050, around 1/3 of Chinese citizens will be older than 60. Its aging population is one of the main reasons China is aggressively advancing its next generation AI and robotics technologies for elder care, medical procedures, and social services.
I guess you can kind of see, just by looking at this video, you can kind of see the direction we headed in, like what kind of jobs that could get replaced. And this is why my AI Takeover Series is going to be so important and valuable to you, because I'll be showing you how you can pivot, right? Because there's a lot of information that I have adopted over the years, especially once I got, certified in AI technology and AI programming. I did a lot of research, so I kind of got a head start on what kind of things that are going to happen and how the world could potentially look.
Zhang Kefeng, known as Dr. Zhang in Chinese media, founded Kaiwa Technology in November 2015 in the tech hub of Guangzhou in the Guangdong province. The founder and CEO has a PhD from Singapore's Nanyang Technological University and did his undergraduate studies in China at the Beijing Technological University. According to reports, Zhang's team launched over 20 in-house robot models.
Yeah, that's
and more than
Zhang
40
Kefeng.
variants for service applications, including its flagship greeting humanoid robot. The serial entrepreneur is also linked to helicopter and drone technology companies in Shenzhen. His latest venture, however, has garnered the most attention. In August 2025, Kaiwa announced plans for what it calls the world's first humanoid gestation robot. It's essentially a robot surrogate mother equipped with an
Hold on, wait. I got to rewind that.
Humanoid gestation robot. 2025, Kaiwa announced plans for what it calls the world's first humanoid gestation robot. It's essential.
Okay, so this year in 2025, they've been working on it. Q Fang been working on it for quite some time, but they actually had some sort of success. That's what I think that this video is saying in this year 2025, and they're projected to bring it out in 2026. But I think this has been talked about for quite some time.
A robot surrogate mother equipped with an artificial womb. The idea is divisive. Supporters argue artificial wombs could reduce risks for women and liberate them from the physical burdens of pregnancy. Critics say the technology is unethical because it deprives the fetus of a natural maternal connection and could commodify motherhood. Others doubt that artificial wombs can replicate complex biological processes like maternal hormone signaling. Zhang unveiled the concept during the 2025 World Robot Conference in Beijing, which featured more than 500 exhibits and 100 new product debuts, as well as the grand opening of the Chinese capital city's robot superstore. Described as a female-presenting humanoid, the robot stands about 165 centimeters, or 5 feet 4 inches, and is designed to carry a fetus through a full 10-month gestation and give birth. The robotic birthing person concept builds on prior experiments.
So that's another thing you want to focus on, what he just said right there. He was saying that the robot could actually go 9 to 10 months, right? Full term. So, some people may think that, it could just happen in a week just because it's a robot. But like he was just saying, about 9 to 10 months, which is what I thought.
Biobag at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in 2017, which kept lambs alive for weeks in fluid-filled, simulated uterus environments. Labs working on artificial womb tech are mostly focused on saving premature babies, not starting pregnancies from conception. To date, no experiment has ever taken a fertilized human embryo all the way to full term in an artificial environment, or even in animals. So Dr. Zhang's goals are in uncharted territory and would require significant advances beyond current science. Unlike traditional incubators or surrogate pregnancies, which handle only parts of the process, the system aims to replicate the entire pregnancy process from conception to childbirth. According to Chinese state media, Zhang's team has been collaborating with the Shenzhen Institute of Advanced Technology of the Chinese Academy of Sciences to develop vascularized endometrial tissue. The robot's abdomen contains a so-called bioreactor incubator pod that acts as an artificial uterus. The pod is filled with artificial amniotic fluid, maintained at human body temperature of around 37 degrees Celsius to mimic the environment of a natural womb.
It seems as if he has everything set up to where it's still like a natural pregnancy. I think this could be a good thing if it doesn't ruin the natural connection between the mother and the child. It could potentially be a good thing, right? But this is something that we don't know. It has good intentions behind it, but for some people, it could be a scary thing. Now, me personally, I wouldn't want to be the test subject. I wouldn't want my child to be the test subject when it comes to this. Now, I want you guys to drop in the comments of what you think about what I'm about to say. Do you think that this technology would solve declining birth rates in countries like China, Japan, or even here in America? Could it create a new industry where companies compete to offer the safest, most affordable artificial womb experience? Or could it backfire? Could it backfire, raising legal battles over who owns the baby? If something goes wrong in the process, could there be potential legal processes over this? And that's where things could potentially, get tricky. I'll drop a link to the last video we watched because it's some valuable information in there that you'll be able to adopt. So I'll drop that in the link in the description. But here's what I want you to really think about. If this technology delivers on its promise, the future of childbirth could shift forever. The miracle of life, once tied only to the human body, might one day be managed by machines. The question is not just can it happen, it already is. The question is, should it happen, and how will society handle it when it does? Or how will society adapt to it? Because one way or another, the future generation might not just be born from mothers. They might be born from machines. I truly would like to know what you guys think about this. Don't leave me hanging in the comments section. Don't hesitate to go ahead and drop your comment, ask questions. I think this is a very interesting topic compared to most of the AI Takeover series that we've done thus far. Make sure you work, hustle, and invest. And remember, if you want to be a part of the union, the link will be in the description. We got some major things going on in the next coming weeks, next coming months, next coming years. Right now, I'm in the process of moving. So I want you guys to, make sure you study in my video. If you're part of the inner circle, I want you to make sure that you're studying the videos, being patient, not doing too much in the markets, right? But yeah, make sure you work, hustle, and invest. I ain't gonna make this video too much longer. It's about 2 minutes left in that video, and I'll drop it in the description so you could check it out and go over it so you'll get the knowledge. I've done a lot of reading on this topic too since I first heard about artificial wombs, but it looked like they trying to make it happen. All right, y'all.